Asbestos, cancer-causing microfiber building material. Asbestos is a building material that is super strong, microfibers. The fibers proved to be very effective building material in the 1950s and 60s and was widely used. Over decades of use, the material was proven to be a carcinogen, causing cancer and other illnesses, many ending in death. The super small, lighter-than-air fibers embedded themselves in the tissues of the lungs when breathed and can never be removed. Over decades, they irritate the lung tissue and cause all sorts of medical problems, including cancer. Asbestos has since been banned in building material applications. Asbestos is stable when undisturbed. When disturbed, the fibers float into the air and can be inhaled. Elevation sheet. Page of plans showing side views of structures. Building plans include several views of the structure to be built and basically include a site plan, plan views, and elevation views. A site plan is the overall property including streets and adjoining properties. The site plan gives a, quote, big picture perspective, end quote. Plan views are views of all floors and roof from the top down, or from a, quote, bird's eye, end quote, view, parentheses, the view a bird would see if flying over the structure, end parentheses. The word, quote, elevation, end quote, is another word for, quote, height, end quote, and therefore, elevation views are views from the side of the structure, as it might be seen at the level from the side when built. Side view plans show the relative heights of different aspects of the proposed building, parentheses, height of foundations, height of floors, height of windows, etc., and parentheses. An elevation sheet will try to combine all elevation views of a building onto a single page or sheet of the plans, if possible. It is totally fine to have several elevation sheets, given the number of stories and the number of structures, etc., within a set of building plans. Related words: building plans, site plan, plan view. Underwriting. Process of deciding to loan or not, and under what terms. The difficulty in life is not saying, quote, yes, end quote, but saying, quote, no, end quote. We need to know under what conditions to say no. Underwriting is the process of applying specific and consistent standards to loan applications so that a lender may responsibly manage financial risk by saying no. The underwriter is, therefore, the gatekeeper in a lending business who not only has the final say on whether to loan or not, but under what terms. For example, a credit score of 740 and above gets the best interest rate. Down to, say, 650, a half a point is added. So the lender will make the loan, but because of the higher risk, requires a higher interest rate. Underwriting is the process of deciding to loan or not, and under what terms. Environmental Impact Report, EIR. Report on the impact a project will have on the environment. Report on the impact a project will have on the environment. The Subdivision Map Act and California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, possibly requires that an Environmental Impact Report, EIR, be done for subdivisions. The EIR describes impact and reparations to be taken. A negative declaration is a positive result, as it means the subdivision will not have a negative impact on the environment, and that reparations or additional work will not have to be done. Beneficiary Lender in a trust deed relationship. In a life insurance policy, there is the insured person, called the principal, and the beneficiary is the one who receives the payment if the principal dies. In real estate, the beneficiary is the lender in a trust deed relationship. A trust deed, parentheses, often commonly and wrongly called a, quote, mortgage, end quote, and parentheses, has three parties to the agreement: the borrower, the lender, who is called the beneficiary, and the trustee, who is a neutral third party who holds title to the property until it is paid. Parentheses, the borrower holds equitable title, end parentheses. The beneficiary is the lender in the trust deed relationship. Related words: trust deed, mortgage. Real estate commissioner. Person appointed by governor to manage real estate law. The real estate commissioner is appointed by the governor and is the real estate police person of the state, so to speak. Just as with the real police, the commissioner can investigate, charge, but not judge. That is left to the court system. The commissioner can carry out a sentence by suspending real estate salesperson or broker's licenses and imposing fines. The real estate commissioner manages real estate law, including the subdivision lands law. Executed contract, completed contract, signed contract. To execute a contract can mean two things. To execute a contract can mean to sign a contract. To execute a contract can also mean to complete a contract. Therefore, an executed contract can mean a signed contract or a completed contract. We will most likely know what is meant by the context of the use. One confusing point might be that an executory contract is a contract which is not yet complete and still has one or more remaining obligations to be fulfilled. An executed contract is either a signed contract or a completed contract. Synonyms: signed contract, completed contract. Related words: executory. Tax lien. Government takes highest interest in property for unpaid taxes. A tax lien can be placed on a property by the county for unpaid property taxes. After a period of 5 years, the local government or county has the right to take the property and sell it to pay off the unpaid property taxes. During the 5 years prior to this final remedy, the county files a tax lien with the county recorder on the property, which acts to restrict the transfer of the property. The property can still be sold, but the escrow officer will see the tax lien on the title and will pay off the taxes as part of the property sale. Another way a tax lien can be initiated is through unpaid state income taxes or federal income taxes. If any one of these taxes are not paid, the government can sue the homeowner or debtor and take out a lien on the property. A property tax lien is a specific lien because it is on a single property. State and federal tax liens might be general liens because several properties might be put under the lien at one time. Remember that a lien is when someone other than the owner takes an interest in a property. Tax liens are involuntary because the owner probably does not want them. A tax lien is when the government takes an interest in property for unpaid tax bills. Multiple Listing Service MLS. Cooperative broker listing of properties for sale. From an outside perspective, the multiple listing service (MLS) looks like advertising of homes or properties for sale. The history of the MLS is a little more interesting in that it is a cooperative listing of properties for sale. In other words, for brokers to help themselves and each other, they cooperatively list properties for sale. The trade-off between that, while a sale commission must now be potentially split with a cooperating broker, the chances of making a sale quickly are improved. The trade-off is worth it as almost every property put up for sale through a broker gets listed on the MLS. Even today, with many internet companies working to make the MLS obsolete, the MLS remains a backbone of listing properties throughout America. Related words: cooperating broker, association of brokers. Environmental hazard disclosure. Disclosure of possible property contamination. Disclosure has become a major component of real estate transactions. The main tool of disclosure is the Transfer Disclosure Statement (TDS). For residential properties, the Residential Environmental Hazards Booklet (REHB) is required in addition to the TDS. The REHB covers asbestos, radon gas, lead poisoning, formaldehyde, and household hazardous waste. For commercial and industrial properties, additional hazardous waste disclosures are required because businesses often deal with more hazardous materials than residences.